All right, so we're gonna start here by coaching a basic push-up. When we're going through the push-up, what we wanna think about is how we set up first and foremost. So we wanna think hands just outside the shoulders. Why don't you come right down here next to me? Hands just outside the shoulders, and I want you to think before you get up into the top of your push-up, get up, think about bracing your core nice and tight like a front plank. So yep, we wanna think pressure right here. Sometimes as a coach, I'll say push your back into my hand. Then we wanna think bring one leg back, bring your other foot back right next to it. Think about squeezing your legs together tight so we can get some good core tension. Then at the upper body, I want you to think about screwing the hands into the ground to create some tension in the shoulders. And I want you to think lower yourself down nice and slow to the floor, creating about a 45-degree angle at the elbows, and then we're gonna push right back up. A nice progression, once someone masters a basic push-up, is to bring in the Bosu ball to add an element of instability at the shoulders. It's gonna be a great way to develop glenohumeral stability at the shoulders. So what I'm gonna have you do, Shelby, is put your hands right on the side here. Okay, perfect. And we're gonna go through that same setup. Think about bracing your abs nice and tight here. Bring your legs back straight, squeeze them together to create some good core tension. We're gonna lower ourselves down nice and slow to the top of the ball. Press right back up, lock out at the top. Again, the Bosu ball is a great tool to develop some core and shoulder stability throughout that push-up. It's a nice progression once somebody masters a basic push-up. All right, we're gonna do the stability ball plank. So Shelby, what I'm gonna have you do is get down with your knees on the ground, and let's put our elbows right on top of the Bosu ball here. And what I like to do is have the client develop some core tension first. So I want her to think, push her back into my hand, create some tension here. Then she's gonna bring one leg back, second leg back. Think about squeezing your glutes and squeezing those legs together. And I want her to focus on breathing in the nose, out the mouth, to be able to better recruit those respiratory abdominal muscles and create some core tension. Now, if this progression is too hard, we can simply progress it by removing the ball. So Shelby's gonna come back down, we're gonna move the ball out of the way, and we're gonna go through that same progression here. She's gonna go down at the elbows, create some tension here in her abdominals, bring one leg back, squeeze those legs and those glutes together tight, and again, we're gonna coach her to breathe in the nose, out the mouth, to develop some ab tension right here. So there's your stability ball plank progression and regression. We're gonna go through the Bosu ball side plank. So what I'm gonna have Shelby do is get down on the ground on her side here. We're gonna put her forearm and elbow right up on top of the Bosu ball here. And this is gonna provide an instability to the shoulder girdle as well as the trunk. So it's a nice progression from a regular side plank. I want her to think about bracing the shoulder tight, squeezing those legs together, squeezing her glutes, and then we're simply just gonna lift the hips and pelvis up off the ground. And I wanna see a nice straight line from her head all the way down to her feet. While she's going through the exercise, I want her to think about breathing in the nose, out the mouth, to recruit those abdominal muscles, and we're gonna progress this for time to continue to challenge her. Now, if this is too hard, we can simply remove the Bosu ball and go back down to a regular side plank. So we'll slide the ball out. Same setup here. We wanna make sure that elbow is directly beneath the shoulder, so she's got some good stability there. Same thing, bracing those abs, squeezing those legs together tight, and then we're gonna have her lift up, focus on breathing in the nose, out the mouth, and again, we're gonna progress this by simply adding time until we're ready to go back to that Bosu ball progression. We're gonna go through a Bosu ball hip bridge. So I'm gonna have Shelby lay down on the ground here. We're gonna put her heels right up on top of the Bosu ball here. Okay, we wanna scoot in our hips nice and tight with some knee flexion. She's gonna lay flat. I want her to think about bringing her toes up towards her shins into dorsiflexion. And then I want her to think about bracing before she bridges up. So take a big breath in the nose, exhale, draw those ribs down, get some good core tension. Then we wanna bridge our hips up nice and high. I wanna see a nice straight line from the shoulder all the way down to the hips. From there, if we want to challenge her a bit more, we're going to move to a unilateral variation. So we'll bring the hips down. We're going to take this knee, bring it all the way up towards the chest here. Think about flexing this hip up. Same exact cueing. We want to think big breath in, big breath out, brace, and then lift. The instability of the Bosu ball is going to help her recruit her glutes and hamstrings and challenge her a little bit to maintain her pelvic and trunk position. Again, we can continue to progress this by simply flipping the Bosu ball over. Now we get a little bit more of a teetering effect as you see here from side to side. Again, we could do bilateral to start because it's going to be pretty challenging. Let's go brace and lift and hold. Again, she's really got to think about using those glutes and hamstrings to maintain that position. Come back down. Now we're really going to challenge her. We're going to go into unilateral variation, bringing that knee up to the chest. Big breath in, big breath out. Bridge up. We want to see that straight line from the knee to the shoulder. She's probably really feeling that hamstring and that glute here. And that's how we're going to progress from the rounded side to the flat side to continue to challenge that hip extension and challenge that trunk and pelvic stability. So we're going to do the Bosu ball split squat. This is going to be a great exercise to develop proprioception and stability at the foot and ankle, especially following an injury. What we're gonna start with is an iso hold. So Brett is gonna get in this split position and just lower himself down till his upper leg is about parallel to the floor. And then we're gonna challenge him for time to just hold this position and manage the stability of his foot and ankle. He's also gonna feel this pretty significantly in his quads, his hamstrings, as well as his glutes. And then if we wanna progress him, we're just gonna turn this into a dynamic exercise. So he's gonna go up and down and lower, and we're gonna see that he's challenging to manage that foot and ankle stability here. Again, a great exercise to develop proprioception and stability in an ankle following a sprain or an injury. We're gonna do a single leg hold on the Bosu ball. This is gonna be a great exercise to develop ankle and hip stability, especially following an injury. So the first thing we're gonna do is just have Brett step up and do an isometric hold. He's gonna have some slight knee bend. He's gonna try to just maintain his trunk, hip, knee, ankle, and foot position for a period of time. We can progress him over time, and then eventually we wanna start to make this dynamic. So we're gonna progress to a 2-point reach. So he's gonna sink down, I want him to reach to the side, try to just tap, and then reach back. So we're just gonna add a multiplanar reach to challenge his stability a little bit, to reestablish some stability and proprioception at that ankle and foot. We're gonna do a single arm push-up hold on the Bosu ball. This is gonna be a great exercise to develop shoulder stability, scap stability, especially following an injury. So what I'm gonna have Brett do, get up like he's in the top of a push-up just with one arm. He's gonna split those feet out to give him a little bit of stability. And then I want him to focus on bracing and maintaining shoulder stability, trunk stability throughout here. If I want to challenge him a little bit as a coach, I can just add a little bit of instability on my own and add a little perturbation in here to challenge his scap stability and his glenohumeral stability at the joint. This is going to be a great exercise following a shoulder injury to start to reestablish his ability to centrate and hold that joint in position. We're going to do a Bosu ball lateral bound. This is going to be a great power as well as lower body stability exercise. The Bosu ball provides a wedge and a source of instability at the ankle and foot, so we can develop some stability at the ankle and foot, especially following an injury. So what I'm going to have Brett do is he's going to bound into the ball, rebound off, and then stick his landing back on the other side. It's important to remember as a coach to do this on a surface where the Bosu ball won't slide or up against a wall, or as a coach like I'm going to do, wedge your foot up against it so it doesn't move from a safety perspective. So Brett's going to bound into it, rebound off, come back, stick. Rebound off, come back, stick. Again, the Bosu ball allows him to a wedge to push off as well as a source of instability at the foot and ankle. We're going to do a Bosu ball jump. This is going to be a plyometric exercise that is going to challenge the lateral stability of the ankle. So I'm going to have Brett line up in a good athletic position right in front of the Bosu ball. And what I'm going to have him do is jump up, stick and hold. And I want to see that he can hold that position without letting his ankles roll out too far. Hold, step down. This is going to challenge his trunk and pelvic stability as well as his lower leg stability to hold that position upon landing.